When you think about losing weight, or maybe just, maintaining it,
Mm.
what's the very first image that pops into your head?
Mm.
For so many of us, it's got to be hitting the gym, right? The sweat, the reps.
Yeah, pushing yourself, that feeling of effort, it's almost like a reflex thought.
Exactly. It's deeply ingrained.
And that's the perception, isn't it? We see it everywhere, images of people working out hard. But here's the question we really want to dive into today. Is exercise truly more important than diet for weight control?
Or are they maybe equally weighted? Is that the reality?
Well, this deep dive, it's going to uncover some, I think, surprising truths. Especially for you, if you've been putting in the hours at the gym, but, well, not seeing the results you hoped for.
Or maybe even gaining weight, which can be incredibly frustrating.
Absolutely. So, okay, let's unpack this with what the data is telling us. We've been looking at research, surveys, some solid scientific studies.
You're trying to get to the bottom of the real drivers here.
And an initial U.S. survey really kind of sets the stage. It found that, get this, 7 out of 10 Americans believe exercise and diet go together. They think they're equally important.
Okay, 7 out of 10. That seems plausible, maybe. What about the rest?
Well, what's even more striking is that 2 out of those 10 people surveyed think physical activity is much more important than what you eat or drink.
Wow, much more important.
Yeah. And then there's the flip side. Only 1 out of 10 believes food and drink consumption is the more important factor. Just 1.
So wait, if I'm doing the math, that's 90%, right? 90% of people think exercise is either more important or at least equally important as diet.
You got it, 90%.
Right.
But, and here's where you might have that first real aha moment, according to the evidence we have explored.
Uh-huh.
It seems like, and this is a bold claim from the sources, everyone is wrong except the 1%.
Whoa, okay. Except the 1%. That's quite a statement. It makes you wonder, why is there such a massive gap between what most people believe and what the science suggests?
That's precisely what we're here to explore. So let's maybe start with the basics. The fundamental concept, calories in versus calories out.
Right, the energy balance equation. What you eat and drink versus what your body burns.
Exactly. And what's often overlooked or maybe just underestimated, and what the research really highlights, is that what you consume, the calories in part, is by far the most controllable factor, specifically for weight control.
More controllable even than exercise.
Significantly more so, yes, when we're talking pure weight management.
That point about consumption makes me think of another common idea the data touches on. This notion that you need to eat like 5 or 6 small meals a day for weight loss.
Yes, that one comes up a lot.
Is there truth to that?
Well, generally speaking, that advice isn't really well supported by the studies for weight loss itself. In many cases, it could actually hinder it, unless there's a specific medical reason, of course.
So another potential misconception there.
It seems so. It shows how easily some advice can become popular without strong backing for everyone. Now, let's be super clear about something.
Okay.
We are absolutely not saying exercise is bad. Not at all. In fact, the studies we looked at call it things like a healthy remedy, even a polypill for overall health.
A polypill, meaning it has multiple benefits.
Exactly. It's crucial for increasing muscle mass, which is great for metabolism, and it produces these beneficial compounds. They're called myokines.
Myokines, okay.
Think of them as tiny messengers released by your muscles during exercise. They help lower blood pressure, improve glucose control, lots of good stuff.
So no question, exercise is fantastic for overall well-being, heart health, strength, mood.
Definitely. But today, our specific focus, remember, is purely on weight control. Where does exercise fit into that picture?
Right. And this is where I think you said we need a bit of a reality check
Yeah.
on the calorie burn.
Yeah, this is where the numbers really start to put things into perspective for you. Your body, just by, well, living.
Like breathing, staying warm, basic functions.
Exactly. Even while you're resting. It burns roughly, and this is an approximation, of course, but around 1,000 calories a day just doing its thing, your basal metabolic rate and daily activity thermogenesis, essentially.
Okay, 1,000 calories just baseline.
Now, compare that. Think about 2 hours of pretty intense exercise. You're pushing yourself, sweating, hard work.
But that might only burn an additional maybe 100 to 200 calories on top of that baseline.
Wait, only 100 to 200 extra calories for 2 hours of intense work? That seems really low compared to the 1,000 you burn just existing.
It is low, relatively
Yeah.
speaking, and that's the disparity. Your basic bodily functions account for way more calorie expenditure than even a significant workout session does.
So if that's the case, if my daily living already burns 1,000 and a tough workout adds just 100 or 200, it sounds like we're maybe massively overestimating exercise's role in the calories outside of the equation, especially compared to how easily calories go in. Is that the core misunderstanding? That's hitting the nail on the head. Exactly. This huge difference highlights something crucial. Our bodies are incredibly efficient at conserving energy. It's a survival mechanism.
Okay.
But burning off excess energy, that takes a lot of effort. And in today's world, with, super calorie-dense foods available everywhere,
Yeah, very easy to find.
it's just far, far easier to overconsume calories than it is to burn a meaningful amount through exercise alone. It's metabolic reality meeting our modern environment.
Which leads us back to that pretty shocking claim you mentioned earlier.
It does. The claim we found directly in the sources. Diet is 20 times more superior than exercise when the goal is specifically weight loss.
20 times. Wow, that number is stark.
It is, and it really challenges that common thought, doesn't it? Oh, I had cake, I'll just run an extra mile tomorrow.
Yeah, they all just sweat it out mentality.
You're right. But what this research is strongly suggesting is that, especially with modern junk food, you simply cannot realistically out-exercise a consistently poor diet if weight loss is the aim.
And there are specific studies that looked into this.
Oh, yes. The journal Obesity, for instance, published research aiming specifically to, and I quote, debunk the myth that exercise is more important than diet for weight loss treatment.
And what did they find?
They confirmed exercise is effective, yes, great for health, but not more important than diet for actually losing weight.
Oh, okay.
And other research looking into problems and misconceptions for weight loss obesity pointed directly at confusion about the influence of exercise on body weight as a really prevalent myth. It trips people up.
That makes sense. It's easy to be confused when the messaging is often so focused on fitness.
Wow.
What about larger analyses?
There was a really fascinating meta-analysis cited. It pooled data from 43 different studies.
Yeah.
Involved over 3,400 patients.
Wow, that's a lot of data.
It is. And 18 of those studies looked specifically at physical activity alone. The conclusion was pretty blunt. Physical activity alone is not an effective method for achieving weight loss.
Not effective, just straight up.
Pretty much. And interestingly, they also found that most people who are overweight or have obesity tend to pick exercise first. They choose it over changing their diet, thinking they can kind of compensate.
But the results don't bear that out.
Not when exercise is done in isolation, no.
Mm.
The reality from combining all those studies was that weight loss purely through exercise was described as, well, insipid, small, and insignificant.
Insipid. Ouch. How small are we talking?
The average was around just 0.1 kilograms per week. That's less than a quarter of a pound.
Okay, 0.1 kilograms a week.
Eh.
Yeah, that's tiny. That's hardly going to make a dent if someone needs to lose significant weight.
Exactly. It's just not going to move the needle much on its own.
So that paints a clear picture for exercise alone. But what about combining it with diet? Does exercise help then?
Now that's where it gets interesting. There was another study, this one in the Gastroenterology Journal. It confirmed again that exercise alone led to only small weight losses, consistent with the other findings. However, when exercise was combined with dietary changes, the results were dramatically different.
How different?
Much greater weight reduction. They saw losses of at least 1 kilogram per week. That's about 2.2 pounds.
Wow, okay, so from 0.1 kilogram to at least 1 kilogram per week, that's a tenfold difference, minimum.
A huge difference. It clearly shows the powerful synergy. Diet does the heavy lifting for the calorie deficit, and exercise provides crucial support and those other health benefits we talked about.
That makes the picture much clearer. Diet leads, exercise supports.
Precisely. And to really, hammer this home for you, the listener, the sources used some incredibly memorable examples, real-world calorie comparisons.
Oh yeah, like what?
Okay, so to burn about 400 calories, which isn't a huge amount of food, right?
Right, maybe a decent-sized muffin or a sandwich.
You'd need to walk for 110 minutes, that's almost 2 hours. Or if you prefer running, about 50 minutes of solid running.
Nearly 2 hours of walking to burn off one muffin.
Yeah.
That puts it in perspective.
Doesn't it? And the examples get even more vivid. To sort of defeat or burn off a large serving of, say, French fries from one of those tube containers,
Wow.
you need to walk 5 kilometers. That's over 3 miles.
For one serving of fries.
Or another one, a crispy chicken salad. Sounds healthy-ish, maybe. but often they're packed with calories from dressing and the coating. One example clocked in at 410 calories. Another 5 kilometers of walking.
Goodness. It almost makes you rethink that post-gym reward snack, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
You could so easily wipe out an hour of hard work at the gym with just a handful of something calorie-dense.
It really highlights the imbalance.
Hugely.
Right.
And the authors of one of these studies, they put it so vividly. They said you'd basically need to come back to collect the steps. Even after you're dead, you'd lack life to burn everything you're eating.
Wow. Okay, that's a powerful image. A bit grim, but it makes the point. You just can't keep up burn-wise with excessive intake.
Exactly. It really drives home that sheer imbalance between how easily we consume calories and the monumental, often unrealistic effort needed to burn them off just through exercise.
So, the clear hierarchy then, based on all this evidence, it seems undeniable. For weight control and also for managing related chronic diseases. Diet is absolutely paramount.
It's the key, the primary driver, no question, according to this research.
And exercise. Still important, obviously, but where does it fit?
Exercise is incredibly important, vital for overall health, well-being, fitness, mental health, all of that. But in the context of weight loss, it serves as a crucial complement to diet.
A complement, not a substitute.
Exactly, and not even of equal importance for shedding pounds. The undeniable focus, if you want to manage your weight effectively, has to be on what goes into your body, your nutrition.
Okay, so let's bring this all together. What does this really mean for you listening right now?
Well, it seems pretty clear, doesn't it? If your main goal is weight management, losing weight, or keeping it off your primary focus, your number one priority should be your nutrition, what you're eating and drinking.
Exercise is still vital, still something you should absolutely do for your health.
Absolutely. For strengthening your body, your heart, your mind, it's non-negotiable for good health. But it plays a supportive role in weight loss, not the leading one.
Got it. Diet leads, exercise supports.
And this actually ties into a broader, really powerful concept that was highlighted in some of the research. Something called lifestyle medicine.
Lifestyle medicine. What's that exactly?
It's basically an evidence-based medical specialty. It uses tools like diet, yes, but also exercise, stress management, improving sleep, proper hydration, social connections, these core lifestyle habits.
Okay.
And the goal isn't just managing symptoms. It's about using these powerful lifestyle interventions to potentially prevent, treat, and sometimes even reverse chronic conditions.
Reverse them, like hypertension or type 2 diabetes.
Exactly. Conditions like those. The idea is to address the root causes and potentially reduce the need for medication, relying instead on optimizing these lifestyle factors. Diet is usually a huge part of that.
That sounds incredibly empowering, actually. Shifting focus to things you can control in your daily life.
It really is. It puts a lot of power back into your hands.
So, knowing all this now, perhaps a final thought for you, the listener. How might you rethink your own approach to health and weight?
Yeah, knowing that diet holds so much power for weight control, maybe ask yourself, what's one small dietary change you could prioritize? Something you could focus on first, understanding its potential impact, even before thinking about adding more time at the gym.